Hi, I'm Barbara, and I want to talk to you today about how I, as a single woman, let people come in my house and stay through Airbnb and made a grip of money. Um, Now, if you have a house and maybe you can't sell it or you want to utilize it, for some money as opposed to just every month making your payments, all your utilities, all the unexpected repairs, then I can give you some tips on how to be successful. I went in kind of blind and I made some mistakes, and hopefully you can learn from them. As I said, my name is Barbara, and I'm an explorer. I like to explore different experiences, different places, not different foods, because I'm allergic, but I like to try things out and just kind of see what happens. Now, I was never the type of person that I thought I would let people in my house. I've been an Airbnb person for 10 years almost. I've had a business. And I'm not a housekeeper. I don't know nothing about hospitality, especially not at the beginning. Nothing about it. I was living alone for 13 years. And for any of you people that have lived alone for a long time, you get kind of prickly and picky about the way you live and how you do or do not want to be disturbed. So, Airbnb, I never thought I would do it. I never thought I'd be right for it. Um, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I ended up doing it. The reason why is because people around my neighborhood were telling me about how much money they could make. Now, granted, at this time I lived in DC, and there's two different DCs at minimum. It's the rich, wealthy, political, beautiful, wonderful DC. I didn't live in that part. I lived in the wonderful, okay, um, black area. It's called Anacostia. You might have heard of it. Anacostia in DC is a historic portion of it, and that story is wonderful. It's where Frederick Douglass had his house. My house was built in 1886, and Frederick Douglass was walking past my house every day to go about and do all his wonderful things that he did. So it's an old neighborhood, and even older than Frederick Douglass. Before that, um, in the 18 somethings, um, it was like the first suburbia of DC. And they were workers from the U.S. Navy Yard that came and lived there. They were all Irish. Okay. Um, and incidentally, there is a road that leads right through that neighborhood that John Wilkes Booth, who was a person who killed Abraham Lincoln, he took that road trying to flee. That's a lot of history. Before that, um, there were Indians that settled there. Captain John Smith, when he came to the area, he came right down the river, which is right next to the neighborhood and gorgeous. So it's historical, as it is a lot of DC, but it's special too. But anyway, people don't see that. People don't know that. When people in general, tourists in general, or other people talk about Anacostia, they talk about statistics and poverty, statistics and crime. They call it "Don't get off on the green line," which is our metro. They tell tourists, especially that have never been around Black people or are scared, don't get off over here. And I managed to thrive even in that. So let me give you the tips, and then we can go back and forth about um, about uh, Marcia says, I've not heard of it. Yeah, yep. If you go to DC, there's two rivers. It's called the Potomac River, which I'm sure everyone has heard of, or some people have heard of. It's historical. And then there's a second river called the Anacostia River, and therefore the city was named Anacostia. And what was I going to say? Yeah. So, oh yeah. So if you're a person, again, like I say, if you want a side hustle or something like that, or you have a house, you want to make some money, you already probably may have a job, a day job, and you want something extra, uh, I can give you some tips. Okay. And there's three of them. I got three different priorities when to be successful in an Airbnb. The first is when you're going through the app, people are looking for places to stay. Travelers around the world, maybe people around the country to visit, relatives that are visiting relatives. They're looking at your pictures first. They want to see. They want to see with their own eyes what they'll be getting into. Um, so you need really good pictures. Now, back in the day, 10 years ago when I started, Airbnb would send a professional photographer to come and take good pictures for you. It was a program, yeah, that they had. I don't think they do it anymore. But I sit up there and I watched how they took pictures. Now, I don't take a lot of pictures. It wasn't my wheelhouse. I wasn't paying attention. And for what? Okay. But um, first thing they did, turned all the lights on in the house. First tip, turned all the lights on. They opened up every curtain in my house. They let all the light come in. Um, then they would do focus pictures. I was like, why is he taking a picture of only my dining room table? People want to see the whole house, just take a picture and hopefully everything shows. No, 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 no. Um, you have to focus. And I saw this and I recognized this later when I used to watch HGTV. Like when they have the before and afters or the reveals. Okay. I started noticing, like right before they went to commercial where they was going to show you the whole thing, they would do a picture of the most beautiful thing. And I started noticing they built a whole house that's supposed to be beautiful. They went through all of the problems they had, the disasters they had to correct within a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money. But when I see the reveal picture, the first thing I see is they're taking a picture of a vase. Watch it. Watch it. You'll see the reveals, and then they show a little of one couch, one flower against the kitchen or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So this is a thing that you have to study and know and all that type of stuff. Now, I don't know everything, but you can get help. Okay. So later on, when I was trying to refresh my pictures, I'm not an expert at that, but they are plenty of pictures, people who are. I mean, there's Instagram models. They talk about know your angles. That's a real big old thing. But people you take pictures and you send them to your people. You send them to anybody and just ask for their feedback. Um, and make sure you take that feedback because they're a regular person and regular people are who are going to be we're looking at and reviewing, and those are the people that you're going to try to get for your business. So just get all the advice you can. Now, I've been doing this for almost 10 years, as I told you, and the last time I took pictures, which is about 3 months ago, I took pictures and I sent it to somebody, and they were like, "What is all that clutter?" I told you I'm not natural to this. I need advice, and I got it. And until I looked at it and I said, "What clutter?" And they were like, what are all them books and stuff? And I was like, oh, I thought those were fun things. Take the advice, clear all that stuff out, um, and use your friends. But the most important thing is to be aware. Once you're aware, you'll start looking at things like HGTV about how to sell something. I guess it's marketing, it's the study of photography. Remember people like maybe 5, 10 years, everybody was having a hobby as photography and trying to get into business. Reach out to some of them. Maybe pay them. Say, yo, can I, and they might be flattered because it was probably a hobby and it died. So if you remember that and be like, hey, I remember you took great pictures. Can you come? I'll pay you a little bit. It's your advertising. So it's important. Be aware. Okay. Somebody said stage it like those pictures in HGTV magazine if you can. That's a great one because you'll be getting a sensibility on how things look in the photography world, even though this is your house. And what I also learned is you might like it. It might upgrade your life. Mm-hmm. When I did Airbnb, I lived there. So the things that I did to improve my house or, do for my business, I got the benefit of that as well. Mm-hmm. So like I said, you want people to notice you. Okay. Pictures. Number 2 out of 3. You want people to pick you. Mm-hmm. They got so many options. In the Airbnb app, they have a stat and they show you how many people are looking at your Airbnb room, house, whatever, what you have for sale. And you'll see that the people that booked is like a low percentage. I want to say like 0.5%, something like that. That's enough. It's enough. Okay. So how do you get picked? Um, if you've never picked anything, if you've never been on Airbnb, if you've never been on Amazon, people go for those reviews. Okay. So we're going to have a whole different section for reviews. I'll say about, this is not science. This is Barb guesstimate. It's probably about 40%. Like if somebody looks at your pictures and then they go, oh, I like these pictures. This looks fly, looks comfortable, looks homey, looks whatever it was that drew them to your page. They're going to want to see those reviews and see if any of my reviews are matching what I think the experience is from the pictures. Okay. So like I said, we'll talk about reviews. But what else? Things like the smart key. Okay. Very important. And it's very important to you too. Because these are strangers. How many keys do you want to have made if somebody leaves with your keys, drops your keys, loses your keys, destroys your keys? I can't wait to tell you in a few minutes what it was like for me when I started the business. Whole bunch of mistakes, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, but have a smart lock because you don't have to worry about keys. What if you're worried about someone taking your keys, making a copy and coming back? What if you're scared, whatever? Um, Smart lock, change the code. You can change it every time. Okay. So have a smart thing. And then also they can come in and out whenever they want. Okay. So it gives them freedom. And some people are looking for freedom. At first, I wanted to meet every single one of them, smile a whole bunch. But after a while, I was like, just let yourself in. Hopefully I don't see you. And when you set up your page, they tell you to write a little bit about yourself. I was like, oh, I like to travel. If you like to travel, I hope you enjoy my home. You may see me in the hall, but maybe not. Enjoy your stay. Like, I did not promise, that I would come out and see you and host you. Okay. So, this is the expectations. And that comes, that's important too, with your reviews as well. What you offer is what they're expecting and what they should be reviewing you on. Okay. What else? Let me see. I had a list. Oh, easy cancel. All right. So I told you about where I lived and what the, what do you call it? The rumors. That's not the right word. There's a different word. What the reputation was about where I lived. Okay. Um, So people used to roll up to my house. Oh, okay. And it was different, right? So I've lived in a lot of different places. Okay. I lived in California, Denver, Atlanta, Charlotte. I lived in Germany. I lived, visited different places. I lived in the suburbs. I lived in the city. I lived in the country. I lived different places. I have never seen anything like Southeast DC where I live, Anacostia. There's a culture there that is very different. People hang out. They be on the porch. They be talking because they care about themselves. They are their entertainment, their community, like old school. Like I used to see this in movies in New York where people would be outside playing kickball. When I was little, we did that too to a certain extent. But as neighbors borrowing sugar, people speak all the time. Wonderful thing. It's like, and I notice when I go somewhere else and people don't speak, it's like something is missing. Because speaking when you just meet eyes with someone, it's like welcome to your day, welcome to humanity of which I'm a part of, you know? So yeah, in New York, in Queens, that's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, Marcia and Bound said, yeah. So I've seen it. I thought it was a thing of the past. But it is or is slowly dying out and was a community. People were not used to that. People were scared. And they were black people too. They were like, what's going on? It's unsafe. And they would cancel immediately. They would drive up to the house, and I had a video camera, like to see the first, like the front of my house and stuff. I would see them in the car canceling. Okay. But just a hint, the cancellation policy that I had was lenient. And what they said was you can have all your money back if you cancel within 24 hours. They was there. I was getting that first day of money. All right. And during certain seasons, they would book directly after they cancel. So I would get twice the money. Okay. I learned that was great. I'd be like, I hope they cancel. Yep. All right. So anyway, those things, let me see if there's anything else. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Um, for those unfamiliar with Airbnb, there's this thing called Superhost. Okay. So if you get that Superhost status, it will help you get noticed more because there is a box that people can check that say they only want to see Superhost rooms. Okay. So you can get noticed more and you can get picked more. Okay. If you get those two, you're on your way. All right. So the third thing is reviews. I've talked about them a lot. Okay. Reviews are very important, and I told you why. But let me give you a personal story. 11 years ago, my sister planned a trip to Africa. And it's a long flight. I was coming from DC. She was coming from California. Okay. And I was like, yo, let's do a stopover for a couple of days. I love Paris. Let's stay in Paris for a couple of days. On the way back, we'll come through Italy, stay a couple of days. Okay. That's how we're going to do it. Back then, you can call the airlines. They did it for free. It was like even cheaper or something like that. And I was like, good. So for the hotel, we had to choose Airbnbs. Well, we chose Airbnbs, and it was relatively new. And it was a really interesting experience. But at the end, they asked us to rate them. And there was like the 5 categories: the cleaning, the neighborhood, the experience, the communication, stuff like that, right? And I was like, when I was rating them, I was like, oh, this is so hard. I mean, they weren't the Beverly Wilshire. They were all right. Okay, so I already gets 3. So I gave them 3s down the board. Okay. I didn't know until much, much later that that will bring your rating down. And if you're not like a 5, people will get turned off by that. And getting somebody a 3, like if you had 2 people stay there, you get a 3 and you get the top rating of 5, your average is 4, and you can't get superhost. There are like 5 qualifications in order to get superhost. One of them is to have like over a 4 points. Okay, I'm gonna lie to you, but I'm gonna just tell you the categories and then whatever. It's like 4.5 um, rating. Okay. You have to have no cancellations in your end. You have to communicate within 5 hours or 24 hours, I believe. And you have to have like a certain amount of stays. Somebody books you within a quarter. Okay. So I messed up her superhost. Okay. Without me knowing it. I didn't mean to do her any ill harm. I mean, she provided like wine and cheese and snacks when we got in and stuff like that. It was fine, but I didn't like know any better. And that leads me to my point. There's still people out there, I don't care 10 years later, that don't know what the expectation is. So you have to tell them, I want a 5-star review. Okay. This is what I want for you. Okay. So you have to tell them that. My first email, text in the app, whatever communication to them is welcome to my home. My whole goal is for you to have a 5-star review. If there's anything that you need, please let me know. So you got to ask for it. I asked for it 3 times. Okay. I asked for it on my page. I asked for it in a welcome email. I tell you everything that I offer. I give you places that I like in the place in my area where you can go. You can go to Starbucks here. You can go here. This is the best place I like to eat over here. You can go to DC White House. It takes 10 minutes. All these little things. But you're telling them, I'm trying to give you a 5-star experience. And the day before they leave, I know you're leaving. I hope you have a safe trip. Did I give you a 5-star experience? Because that was my goal. If I didn't, please let me know before you leave if I can do anything to make it so. I feel like your boss when you tell them when you tell me you're having problems. Let's work together, all right, to get this 5-star review. I'm gonna try to give it to you, but if there's any place I'm falling short, you let me know. Like you have responsibility too. Put that on the guest. And I'll tell you something about people that review. Nowadays, I mean, people are always asking for reviews, and people value their time. So, if you didn't do anything specifically to offend them, or if you were very friendly, they're not gonna take their time to hurt someone that gave it a good try. All right. So you just do your very best and ask for it, and I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna do. All right, and this is a very, very important step. So I need you to listen. Okay, listen. Because people don't want to hurt people, but also people, if they're doing reviews, they want to be truthful. They won't review you if they don't love you or hate you. For the most part. For the most part. Some people, there's outliers and stuff like that. So here's my tip. Don't review people who don't review you. Very important. Okay? I told you earlier that in order to get Superhost, you have to have a certain rating, right? So you don't want any of the lukewarm or bad ratings, okay? But if you review a person, they will be obligated, regardless if they liked you or not, to review you. And that's where some of your worst reviews will come. People that aren't committed, they'll do it just as they reviewed me. I'm going to review them too. Don't do that. Okay. That's going to help you. Okay. Um, so those are my 3 steps. And let's see. Oh yeah, now they have automated messages. So all those messages I had to type them, copy and paste them back then. They the messages that I give to them, welcoming them and saying goodbye to them. Please give me a good review. Blah 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 blah. Now it's automated, so it's a lot easier. Okay, you rarely have to put the energy that you used to in it. You can type a message, send it out, and just have it on repeat when each person comes. It'll send it. So that's great. All right, so those are the 3 things. But let me tell you. Let me tell you who I was when I first started. Um, I lived alone for many years, 13 years by myself. And for those of us who lived alone by themselves, you get kind of prickly and picky about how you live. You close your door and it's your space. All right. Like I said, I wasn't a hostess. I didn't know design. I was the type of person, when I move someplace, where the box lands is where it stays until it moves when we move out. I didn't know about hospitality and hosting. And that's a little bit of Airbnb. Okay. So I had to learn the hard way. I was scared. I'm a single woman, man. I didn't know what people were capable of doing. If people would come into my door in the middle of the night, I wasn't very prepared. Remember I told you to have all those keys? I didn't have all those keys. I remember the very first person that picked me. I was just so thrilled, like, oh my God, somebody's coming to my house and they're gonna stay there and stuff like that. I don't think I had like proper sheeting. I just had, an extra pair of sheets, my one other sheet set. I put that on the bed. Okay. I didn't have no trash cans anywhere. Um, I had 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Okay. I slept in 1 bedroom. Sometimes I would choose like if I don't have like a specific vacation plan, let me go to another room. I'll take myself somewhere. But I used to store junk in them other rooms, so I had to figure out what that was. Um, the lady that came, I didn't even want to give her my own key. I only had one key. I was like, she was like, when do I check out? What do I do? I was like, I guess I'll just stay here till you leave. And I had to go to work. Okay. So I didn't think those things out. And my reviews, they were like out of the 5 categories, they were trying to be nice. And I reviewed them first. And so they felt they had to review me, but they would tell me, you need trash cans, you need a mirror, you need this, that, the other. Maybe it would be nice if you had a key, stuff like that. Okay. I've told you some of those things. So anyway, I told you the way I was. But what happened was I was in DC and everybody I knew had a side hustle. Okay. Everybody. Oh, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, I'm a notary public. Oh, I do this. I mean, I'm remodeling house. I'm flipping apartment buildings, stuff like that. Right. And I was like, oh, you know what? I have always in my adult life, teenage life, and young life, always had a side hustle. Always. I mean, I was selling candy to kids in the 8th grade. My mama took us to Costco and was like, get candy in bulk and sell it to kids. Okay. I was in the military. After work, I would change out of my uniform and I was a delivery driver for Domino's. I was at my first duty station and it was Denver. And I was like, oh my goodness, I get to listen to music and drive around and get paid. So I did that and I got time. Or I was in school. I always was in school after work. I was in school in Denver. After work, I'd be taking classes. I was in the military in Germany. I was at the shop at, which is like a 7-Eleven or something like that. I was doing that or going to school full time out of country trying to get my bachelor's. I sold puppies. I was in Atlanta. I had two poodles, toy poodles, right? I used to sell puppies on Craigslist. Yep, and it worked. And what else I do? I went to school full time after work in Atlanta. I got my master's. It was like 16, 17-hour days. It was a lot. Um, and on and on. I mean, throughout my whole life. So I was like, oh man. So when I got to DC, I think for the first 3 or 4 years, I played Bid Whist almost every day. It was like a club. You can find any niche that you love there. That's one thing I really liked. And I played Bid Whist 4 nights out of the week. But once I was done with that and I moved to this house, I was like, I want a side hustle now. Especially I'm paying these big bills, right? Um, and I tried Uber. That's my first thing. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going back to Domino's, driving or whatever. I tried it. I got a car, Let me look at my assets, see what I can do with my assets, see if I can make some money first. I tried that. I ran my body. The money was good the first day. And it was the first system that I had known where I would drop someone off and it would say, you made $20 instantly. I think they paid, I can't remember if they paid you every day, every other day or something like that, but you could see your money with every transaction. Um, it ran my body into the ground and my car into the ground. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm going to lose my real job fooling with this hustle job that the money got smaller and smaller as time went on. It's like they give new people opportunities. I was like, my car, they messed up my car. So then around my way in Anacostia, people was like, oh, I know Airbnb. I let people stay with me. I was like, stay with you. I'm not the type. I'm not, I don't keep good house or anything like that. And then they showed me how much they were making. Like I said, 2,500 to 4,000 a month. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll try it. And I did. And I have a whole bunch of stories. I learned a lot because, like, you learn what who to watch for, who not to watch for. People will surprise you. You would think the things that you think you learn. Some people will do just the opposite. You think they don't like you, or you think that they didn't like their stay. They'll love their stay. People that you think they love their stay, then they'll bomb you on the reviews, which is a part of do not review anybody who doesn't review you. So I did it, and I did it from 2015 to 2019. Mm-hmm. And I would suggest it. And the first thing I would tell you to do, let's just say you're listening to me. You think, okay, maybe I need some money. Maybe I'm trying to save some money. Maybe I can't sell my house and I want to sell my house, but I still want to make money. Okay. I would first thing I would do to see if this is for you. And this is one thing I did at the beginning. I would go to Airbnb and look in your neighborhood. And I would see how many people are you do a search around your area and you see how many Airbnbs are being rented. Okay. If you're renting your whole house, you're not staying there. You look for houses. If you're looking for rooms, you can do that. Look for that, and you see what they are going for, like how much a night. If you got 2 rooms, right, and you rent them out for the low price of $40 a night, you got 2 rooms, and they're booked. What if it's 50? Let's just make it even. 2 rooms, that's $100 a night. There's usually 30 days in a month. 30 times 100 is 3,000. Okay. I lived in DC. I lived in a part that was hard to advertise, and I did it. Okay. But you may not live in DC. You need to check out your area. Do people come here? Do people rent here? Do people come for expositions? Do people come for games? Do you have like a big sports team that people fly in for? Those will be your customers, okay? But you want to look at who's doing Airbnb and how much. Then go to their reviews. Okay. See how many reviews they have. If they have maybe 3 or 4 within a month, I think that's good business to me. And the reason why is because everybody doesn't review. Think about yourself. You get all those emails, you ignore them, you spam them. So you only need to get a small portion of the people who rent it. Do different dates. And that'll tell you if you have an opportunity to make some money. Um, Now, if you like this video um, and you think that this is something that you should do, I would also go to the Airbnb website. Yep. What other things I can talk about? Yeah, yeah, that's my Airbnb story. I will tell you also that I stopped for 4 years, something like that. I stopped right in time too. Um, I did some work on my house, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I got sick of it. I get sick of stuff. You know, my name is Barbara the Explorer on this page. Um, Marcy said, "Should I offer Airbnb experiences or is it separate?" Oh, that's a really good point. I haven't done Airbnb experiences, and one thing there's a tip. One thing I didn't do because you have to be intentional because of your reviews is I didn't offer much because everything that you offer, you get reviewed on, or they can review you on. Okay. I didn't offer breakfast. I did it first. I didn't offer coffee and teas because if I said I offer coffee and tea or small whatever, they would complain about what I offered. So I stopped and I got better reviews. So the experiences, I haven't done it yet. I think it's a great idea, especially if you have someone that you know will offer a tour. You can partner with them, make some more money together. That would be like what do you call it? You give them a whole time itinerary, and I might do that one day. I just haven't done it yet. Hmm. Um, and so I would just encourage you to be an explorer too. Um, and if you're interested in talking to me more, please reach out to me, and I'd be happy to give you my advice. Um, and I can give you my Airbnb stuff. My Airbnb, you can see my rooms. I want you to take a look at my 2 rooms. I want to see what you think. And the reason why is because on one on one of my rooms, I updated the pictures, right? The other room, I had some old pictures that I took, right? And you can see the difference, I believe, in what you may pass up and what may draw your attention. I would like to point you that to get you started. I want you to look through my reviews as well. Um, I don't know how to add links here in Airbnb. I should have had that ready, but I don't. To kind of, you know, see how a business is built, and you don't have to expend much energy on it. I did this after work. When I first started, I made sure that I got off at 3 o'clock. I worked 6 to 3 because and what was the average was people checked in at 4. So I had to rush home, flip them sheets, get my rooms ready for the people to get in. Um, so you can do that too. Maybe you just need something on top of your job. Okay. This could have, you know, I could have got a part time job, but I was saving for something. I had goals and stuff. So I do think this is a good opportunity. And what I'll do is I will add my Airbnb links in your description. And if you, by the way, come on out. You can book. If you know somebody that's coming to DC, you can book, have them book too. Come on out. And otherwise, I think that's all for now. I hope you have a great day. I can offer coaching if you would like. I've done it for so long. I have templates that you would want to use. I have a template for what you need to send out and how you need to structure your welcome message. Once you welcome them and you give them uh, advice about how to get around, where to eat, how that format should be, that's going to go a long way. They'll be happy because they're going to be asking you. And I think the less work, the best work. I just made that up. I do. And what I'll do is I'll put it in the description on how to get in contact with me. Otherwise, I want to wish everybody a great day. Okay. I want to wish you great fortune and whatever you're exploring in life. It could be a place, it could be a hobby, it could be anything. I wish you well in that too. Go find yourself, go find the world, and have a great one. This is Barb B. Scotty 1 signing out.